shut down. Just gets the kick away in time. Watson read it beautifully. Waited for it to come because he knew he had space. Camporelli, Hurds lurking inside 50. Had a little sniff of it, couldn't rake it in. Toe poke, Prestigiacomo, cut off by Welsh. Got an option inside 50 and gives it to Jolly. On the line, back to McVeigh. Kick smothered.
Oh, what was that?
They wasted it, O'Brien. Now Collingwood a chance on the rebound. Fraser long to Tarrant. Too far out to score.
Egan.
And he finds him. Does he play on? No. Massive kick this. The Bombers want to avoid the wooden spoon. Collingwood still a chance for top four. And he's nailed it. Lovett Murray sends the kick towards Hill. It's been marked by Swan. He backtracks to the wing.
Blake off, Maxwell on.
3 minutes 30 to three-quarter time. An important 3.5 coming up as the kick finds Heath Shaw. He goes inside 50 and the lead on the mark from Egan.
Well, he's the one bloke who's looked the most dangerous all night, and I guess he's on the most inexperienced
Because he runs at the ball carrier.
Defender, Jay Nash. Yeah, he runs into some space. It's a good kick. This kick's a very important one to Heath Shaw there because it opens up the other side of the ground.
But that view there shows Anthony Rocker, even though he just ran up next to Shaw, it means that he brought his opponent with him. So for that 3 or 4 second window, there's space for someone like Egan to lead into.
Angle a little more difficult than the one he kicked with
Not bad.
a few minutes ago, and that was the difference in the kick. He was lining up for number 3, couldn't slot it. And it's a costly miss, really, approaching three-quarter time.
Oh, it's a handy point, Grant.
Yeah.
Camporelli short. Lovett Murray. Nice kick. Releases Nash. Goes towards half forward. Miscue. Buckley's in the row.
This game's about to just get a little bit more of a momentum swing. Just feel like Collingwood are getting better usage of the footy now.
There's Didak on the wing then. Probing kick. Shaw. Good mark right on the 50. Looks to the middle. O'Brien. 2:19 to go in the term. He was trying to set up Loney. Comes to Johnson. Johnson bounces his way onto his right foot. Forced to kick with his left. Wasn't the spot he wanted to go to initially. Monfrey's falling to the ground. Look away hand pass over the shoulder from McPhee. Stanton goes to Watson. Little 1-2. Stanton out in front of himself. Clement will prove hard to beat in this situation. Not a bad result for the Magpies as Clement forces the draw.
Wasn't such a bad result, really, for Stanton either.
Good result all round.
Yeah.
He knew then. He just knew, McPhee, that he had enough numbers there. It just had to be like throwing a dart at a dartboard and any number will be fine.
Look good.
Inside 2 minutes to three-quarter time. Maxwell forced to do the ruck against Bradley. Ball knocked down to Johnson. Wobbles it inside 50. Heard the fly. And the mark.
Well, Heath Shaw was the man that...
Pops it over the top. Lovett Murray. Got there. Has a snap. And has missed it.
That was a poor decision, I'm afraid.
Jimbo.
Big James Hearn is set to go back and kick the goal.
Yeah.
He realised he had Heath Shaw when he went in the middle of the ground, so just worked his way forward. Knew that perhaps if a ball came in high that he had the height. Did all the hard work. He just had to kick the goal.
Clement. O'Brien runs from half back. Holland had it knocked away, but he was interfered with. Coming back was Jolly. Holland hasn't seen a lot of the football tonight, only his 7th possession. Some indecision as the clock runs down towards a minute. Swan comes off the ground, play on's the call. He comes back to Maxwell, forward of half back. So Collingwood have tried very hard in this term, but really have made few inroads. The lead was 22 at half time. Here's Loney. Just pops it short of half forward. Shaw.
An 18-point lead at the moment for the Bombers. Be pretty happy to go in the three-quarter time with that. Not concede one here. Popped over the top to Johnson. Holds it up.
They've only got
Johnson.
one extra man in defence here, Essendon, so it's worth the long pole in.
Fraser gets back, got a hand to it. Tarrant, Didak, they almost compete for it. Didak snaps it. Didak goals it. He inspired them on Anzac Day. Watson, McVeigh, Fletcher, Jason Johnson and McPhee combined to keep control of it just outside attacking 50 for the Bombers.
You got Josh Fraser loitering in the goal square, so he's trying to avoid him.
Not sure what that was all about, that pass, but it's left Collingwood back in. Tie up, will get a ball up at centre half forward. 53 plays 41. It's still a 2-goal game.
They're playing like a side that had nothing to lose at the start of the game and they attacked it. Now they're playing like a side that have got something to lose.
Josh Fraser kicked it forward. Oh, well done by Fletcher on his knees. Missed the target though with a hand pass. O'Brien, he's been the thick of the action. Hand passes down towards half forward. Cloak thumps it back into the congestion. O'Brien once more found a way through. Goes to Johnson. Johnson spots the man in the clear. Lucuria, question of accuracy. Goes in and goals. Collingwood are coming.
I reckon that Essendon have got to get headed for them to win the game. I know that sounds stupid, but if they get headed, then they go back on the attack again.
Yeah, play that game style to get back in. Yeah, no, good call.
Bolton found Hurd, who somehow found Lucas. It wasn't the orthodox kick. It's bounced toward full forward, and Travis Cloak gets back to the open side. Maxwell can run here. He's got some space ahead of him. Lucuria says give it long. They can tie the scores up with a goal. 13 minutes from time. Lucuria's held up. Pokes the pass. Johnson takes the mark in front of McPhee. Goes to full forward. Didak in a one-on-one. He's still alive. Didak couldn't get back on it. McVeigh does. Keeps it alive. Rolls it towards Hurd. Getting in. Swan fumbled it. Got it. And now kicks in. It's all tied up.
Gee, that is a great goal.
They're just running hard to do it all over the ground. First of all, Lucuria ran away from Welsh on the outer wing, and Welsh couldn't go with him. And then you saw Johnson run past McPhee, and then this is a great effort from Dane Swan.
Right now, he'd be thinking, with this fumble, this is the great James Hurd behind me. He's going to gobble me up. But even though he double grabs at it, still the presence of mind to get it in the right direction. That is a super goal.
Oh, what a big time in this game. Have a look at this again. Collingwood's options multiplying like rabbits. James Hurd, I imagine, went back to keep the rabbits out. But I think he said to Justin Fletcher, too many rabbits, my old China, and suddenly Dane Swan just bobbed up and popped it through. Scores a level, 53 points apiece. It's a clinker. O'Brien once more, been wonderful. Comes out wide. Swan yet again. He's inspired himself. Goes longer, full forward. Hangs in the air a long time. Fletcher thumps it across the boundary line. It will be thrown in.
Just the run, the legs, the clearance work at the centre of the ground. It's all going the Magpies' way.
Top 4 spot on the ladder up for grabs.
Shallow throw.
Wooden spoon up for grabs. Ball back in. McPhee. Hill. Lovett Murray. Takes them on. Kept it alive. McVeigh. Wobbles it outside 50. Bradley read it nicely. Hamble not so good to Mark Johnson. Buckley. Mark Johnson. Kepler Bradley. Rides the bump. Handballs beautifully. Mark Johnson's away. The lead comes from Lucas. Can he get there? Yes. Maybe just within range, or at least close enough to give them the lead. Either way, long ball. He's back in front.
Oh, how good was Kepler Bradley out on the wing? He looks a bit like Lenny out of Mice, and then he's tended the rabbits here. Dennis? He gives it off there. He rode the bump and put Mark Johnson into space. Once again, he gets somebody to break the lines and just carry the ball with some momentum, with some pace. A forward can read that and run up to the field of play and get on the end of a long kick.
John Steinbeck is you.
Oh.
Isn't he?
Of mice and men.
Wonderful by the former West Perth star, Kepler Bradley.
Yeah.
Derm, talk us through it.
Oh, well, as I said, you wanted someone to tend the rabbits, and he's got the build of Lenny. So off he comes and bounced off his opponent and put Mark Johnson into space. And when somebody's running through the lines, a forward will always read it first, coming towards him.
Bombers by 6 points. Hill went to ground. Burns, who's been wonderful too to start this term. Standing though, scrambles it out of the centre. Mark Johnson, Watson. That's a beautiful hand pass. Nathan Lovett-Murray didn't have to break stride. Now he does to settle and bounce through a goal. Long-range bomb by the Bombers.
Yeah, I said earlier, as soon as they lost the lead, they needed to lose the lead to get themselves back playing the sort of footy that had them in front early in the game, and that's what's happened. The goal to Collingwood that drew the score level, they thought themselves, well, no longer are we able just to save this game. We've got to go back out and win it. And that's what's happened. They've just gone back and attacked the footy, found some run all of a sudden, turned it round.
Nathan Lovett-Murray likes playing against his old team. 30 possessions and 14 marks on Anzac Day, and is inspiring his team again tonight. Fraser, Holland, Fraser pokes the ball wide, makes it tough for Burns. Handball all the way back to Isles. And the youngsters set it up. Nice kick outside of the boot. Holland straight down the middle to Didak.
He's got room for one-on-ones forward.
Wants to take on McVeigh. Pokes it inside 50. Getting there, Tarrant, but after Fletcher dived and knocked it down to Welsh. Back to Fletcher. Open side to Hurd. He can set it up. He'll need to find Peverill with an accurate pass. Couldn't take the mark. First man onto it. He's sure overcommitted. Peverill's kick a shocker. Straight into Fraser. Too tall. Buckley hands it back to Peverill. He's sped. Goes to full forward. Monfrey's down there. Little nudge out. Can he keep it alive? Yes. No. And that'll do with 10 minutes 20 on the clock for the Bombers.
Just amazing the transformation that comes over the game. Once you got to stop trying to save a game. You've got to go back and win it again. That's what happened to the Bombers. Once they lost their lead, they've gone back to winning the game again.
Boundary throw in. Fraser in front. Didn't touch the football. Burns at the back. Gets a hand pass to Prestigiacomo. Buckley wants the boundary, but the other superstar is lurking. Well, how obedient was that kick? Like a trained dog, bounced over the head of Hurd and out of bounds. So much riding on this one. Collingwood thinking top four. We said their finish was pretty gentle. Well, Essendon, anything but tonight. Here's Stanton, just dropped it. Coming through O'Brien, close to the boundary line, wrestles up with Watson.
Now we have the situation again that they've gone 2 goals ahead, Essendon.
They can't slip back.
They are putting one man behind play here. So they have one less man at the fall of the ball. So Collingwood to clear this more than likely.
Fraser, good hard work. Got it into the path of O'Brien. Heard the voice somehow. Got it to Holland. This is Isles. He's on the wing. Kicks it down towards half forward. Tarrant will need to go. Licuria had it thumped away. Kept alive by Didak. We've got a whistle. And apparently it was across the line.
Well, it's it, and this is an interesting one now. The 2 goals up, they don't want to fall into that mindset of saving again. That's where they ran into some trouble. So maybe another goal and they can start to put one behind as Hurd comes off. You imagine he'll come back on for the last probably 4 minutes.
So the experienced James Hurd comes off and Jolly comes on as Travis Cloke kicks long and is missed to the near side. So a bit of a gamble when you're bringing on a third gamer to replace the man who's played 233 for you.
I reckon James would only be off the ground for about 120 seconds here, just enough to get his heart rate down. They'll monitor it.
Fletcher's kick, superb. Jason Johnson made the running and collects it in front of Buckley. Pops the pass to Peverill.
He has run super hard tonight, this fella, Damien Peverill.
Fantastic. 28th possession, Peverill. Made it awkward for Bolton. Cleared him. Monfries comes up, gives it away, though, taken by Shaw. Couldn't clear Shaw. Licuria goes to Loney. Wheels around, normally a long kick. This is no exception. Tailor-made for Tarrant. Got a hand to it. That was very clever. Knocked it down to Swan. It was smothered, though. It went directly to Lovett-Murray. That brings it out. Heffernan's got it, Dirk.
Lucky not to give away a free kick. He shoved it at Tarrant out there without looking at the ball in that contest.
McPhee's got it now. Hand passes down towards the 50, taken by Stanton. Hurd is back on the ground and lurking. Not required.
Still game alive here. I know that given how big the scores are. This is a sizable lead tonight, 3 goals, but it is still game alive because they're not playing massive numbers behind defence, and all it'll take is 2 or 3 contests in a row out of the centre. The ball goes forward, and it'll have to be Didak who'll need to kick a couple of goals if the Magpies are going to win it.
23 possessions and a goal now for Brent Stanton, having an outstanding season. One of only 4 Bombers to have played every game this year. From the ball up, Fraser. They need to start something quickly, the Pies. Holland. Jason Johnson, desperate. Heffernan got the handball out, inside 50. Good pass by Stanton to Hurd.
Jason Johnson has been super over the last 4, 5, 6 weeks since he's come back in after his rest in the Magoos. He's just given Essendon something out of the middle in the hard ball gets.
Clearances in the middle for the Bombers, with Joe Watson as well, who's been great. It's been a big, big winner for them.
21 possessions for James Hurd. Number 22 was a very important possession to be missing by that margin to the near side. Only a behind.
Very good tonight. In his way, unfazed by what happened at the beginning. This man who kicks it to himself, James Clement, remarkable early on James Hurd, but Hurd has come back to be an impact player. Isles, just outside the defensive 50. Time the enemy of the Magpies now. 72 plays 54. They drew level about 5 minutes ago. Buckley will be penalised. Welsh kicks inside the 50. Advantage was paid. He took advantage of the advantage, and Lucas will line up.
See, for anyone, the young fellas watching, to be able to play, there's the free kick. Exaggerated. Because Hurd can play so well away from the forward line, it's just freed everyone else up. Lucas ends up on Clement and is now more than holding his own.
51 goals for the season. Scott Lucas from 55 lays back and tugs it. Just missing the post. In fact, it did graze the post. Wrong side of it, but a behind. As they say in the classics, handy behind.
Yeah, 3 goals, 1 now the margin. Inside 7 minutes.
Not the only place they say it.
Now you see Collingwood have been choked up with their run. They can get no run received now.
Clement sends it wide. And Bolton takes it across the boundary line. We've played 20 minutes now, final term. It's Collingwood's final 3 rounds of the home and away season. Port Adelaide at Amy, Carlton and the Kangaroos.
No such thing as an easy game. We had Essendon tacked on earlier.
Josh Fraser.
Okay, Josh Fraser's free on the wing. 6.5 minutes remaining.
Rocker's back on with Tarrant forward.
They just need someone. A hero. It might be Rocker. No, it's Fletcher for the Bombers. Rocker got the ride. Fletcher read it perfectly.
Great vision too. Comes to Dyson. He will provide run. Dyson at half-back, some indecision. Kicks it out towards the interchange gates. Shaw comes back close to the boundary. No space. Out of bounds. It'll be thrown in. Good spring, Rocker, but nothing doing.
He's been great too, Dustin Fletcher, tonight. He's been fantastic.
6 minutes to go. Major upset brewing. Essendon looking for their 3rd victory of the season. Swan, who's played well, feeds it to Lockyer, goes looking for Tarrant, and Tarrant is marked 35 metres out. Is that the Bronx cheer?
Well, he's had 9 possessions, 6 kicks, 3 marks, 6 kicks, 3 handballs, 5 marks. Just hasn't looked. I wouldn't mind betting he has a touch of some illness tonight. He just dropped his head into his hands several times when he sat on the sidelines.
May happen again, Derm.
He might just be having a shocker, Derm. I think I said that earlier about Anthony Rocker.
I know. That's always the first case we look at, but so if you try and read into it a little bit, see what happens.
Didn't have a big game Anzac Day either. Missed 4 shots a goal on Anzac Day and finished with none for the afternoon.
He's had some shins. I think that's the problem he's had for most of the season. Shins really.
The early nights. Robert Murray sends it along. Hill flies, can't bring the mark down. boundary line, and we'll get a ball in. Tony Jones with 5 minutes left on the clock.
And not one of the 62,940 fans are leaving this stadium yet for what is undoubtedly, Dwayno, the Friday night match of the year.
It's a great crowd, isn't it, for a side that's sitting on the bottom of the ladder.
And you combine that with the 91,000 I had here earlier this year. Two grand clubs, and they're fighting it out to the death here tonight. No one can get it out. And umpire Shane McInerney says, I'll have it.
Kevin Sheedy, like the man out of The Fugitive, finding it difficult with just the one arm up there in the coach's box. Hard to remonstrate. Heffernan, Dyson, looping it over the top with Stanton. Camporelli was in trouble. Clever hand pass Burns. Holland. Little look away hand pass Pendlebury. Now Lockyer steps inside the square, drives it long down towards half forward. Egan, 65 metres out. Time of the essence for the Magpies. It seems they'll lose this game. They need a goal on this sortie forward. Fletcher, though, the master, over the top of Rocker, puts it down to the advantage of Lucas, who comes to McPhee.
3 goals in 4 minutes is the equation. The Bombers can get themselves off the bottom of the ladder. And so over to you, Carlton. Short pass. Lockyer around the body to Didak. 3 goals in the last quarter on Anzac Day. Sends it inside 50. Good spoil. Knocked down by McPhee. Away from Egan. And we'll get a ball in.
Best game, I reckon, out of McPhee's played. Well, certainly the games that we've seen. We've seen a bit of Essendon this year. Some big possession winners on the ground. But he's just looked at home at cross half-back. Especially given that he didn't play at all last week from the ball in. Slap down, Pendlebury takes on Camporelli. Got a handball out, Licuria. Isles slips a handball to Egan. Now Johnson from the pocket to keep the Pies alive.
Benny Johnson is up to 20 possessions now, 10 handball receives, so he's always thereabouts. And he's not the kind of bloke who just floats on the outside of the pack either and says, I don't want to get tackled, give it to me, I'm going to play a nice comfortable game. He gets in there and gets it when it's his turn, but you must have players who keep the ball moving for your side. I think he's been fantastic for Collingwood tonight.
Still time, 3.5 minutes to go. 12 points the margin, as it was at three-quarter time. Hill, who's dominated the ruck. Fraser's been good around the ground, directed it down again. Welsh, Peverill gets a hand pass away. Hill goes at the footy, not in time. O'Brien over the top. In the opposite direction to Burns was Lucas, timely that he was. Soccer's off the ground, down towards the 50. All Collingwood, Lockyer gets back. Ample time, Watson goes down hard. This is Cloak. Kicks beyond the wing. Mark Johnson sensed the danger, came across on the angle and marked in front of the leading Licuria. Well aware that the clock is running. Umpire Bozzo, you heard him. Johnson to half forward. Hill, good grab. Simply too strong for Shaw.
Yourself, mate. I can't pick it up for you. Thanks, Steve.
Hill going back, ambling back.
They only had 5 possessions, David Hill, and Josh Fraser's had 29.
Let's go, David.
But I'm not sure that there's that much of a disparity between their impacts.
Hill hugging the boundary, goes to Hurd, off hands across the line. Clock stops at 2:09.
Just wasted 40 seconds with 2 possessions. And wasted them beautifully, Essendon.
Clangers 49 for the Magpies tonight.
Burns caught, doesn't really want to give it away. And we'll get a ball up. 2 minutes, 2 goals, that's the equation now as Burns gets to his feet. Cloak will do the right work against Hill. Side by side, Pendlebury, third man up, slaps it down. They need to take it away. Nash on hands and knees. Pendlebury got it out to Clement, caught, loops it towards Cloak. Kick around the body. Buckley needs to, he can't. He couldn't reach it, and Peverill can eat up some more seconds. He played it on. Dyson, he can hold it up.
Travis Cloke's 5th time he's kicked the opposition tonight. I mean, the kid's got a real chance of being an exceptionally good player in league footy. He's just got to understand that he's not a left-footed Nathan Buckley yet. He can't thread the eye of a needle. He's got to keep it simple by foot because he's got all the goods to be a sensational player.
Fletcher gave it to Peverill, to Lovett Murray, who will go back to Peverill. Will fatten his stats still further. 32 possessions. Back to Fletcher, who's been wonderful.
He's been superb. Well, this is a terrific win because they were challenged during this last quarter and got the back to scores level. And it was almost the trigger in the minds of the players to say, OK, let's get back on our bike. Let's attack this game of footy. And they've just careered away from the Magpies from that point on.
They're working their way back towards Federation Square. Lovett Murray in the back pocket.
Well, they can rush behinds if they want to.
The next kick should be to a contest. They're all manned up now. That's taken about 45 seconds.
Unless he kicked it behind, of course. He sends it wide. Burns caught. Heffernan. And now Welsh sends it a long ball towards half forward. Big by McVeigh! Nice grab. Little bit of icing on the cake. Pokes it to Hill.
He's played with some presence, David Hill. He mightn't have had a heap of it. And yes, Mark McVeigh had a super year and he'll enjoy that. Hopefully one of those photographers down there gets a snap for his bedroom wall. But David Hill's played with some presence. He's thrown his body around. Hasn't got a stack of the footy, but we'll enjoy this, as will the Essendon fans. This is truly is a fantastic effort.
They're off the bottom of the ladder, the Bombers. It's a 2-goal margin with this kick to come. It doesn't really matter. It's a behind and a 13-point victory to the Bombers against the odds.